Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate the process of creating and sending invoices on Stripe after a project has been completed using Make.com. Let's get started. I'm using Monday.com as my project management tool, and here we have various services that we are offering to clients. One of the services is automation service. This is the first and last name of our client, the company they work in, email, phone number, and their location. So we would like, after this project has been completed, to create and send an invoice on Stripe using Make.com. For the status, we have when the status is intake, progress, finalizing, completed, awaiting feedback, or cancelled. To trigger our automation, we're going to set up a webhook that is sent after the status of our project is changed to completed. We're going to search for webhook, then click on custom webhooks. Here we're going to add a webhook, and we're going to rename our webhook to create and send invoice webhook, and click on save. I'll copy this address, then head to monday.com, then click on integrate, and then click on webhooks, and we'd like to send a webhook when our status changes to something. So I'll click on this one, and then I'll use another account and paste the link that we copied right here over here, and then click on connect. You can say it says failed to communicate with URL, so but over here it was successfully determined. Now to connect Make and Monday on webhooks, we'll click on webhook response, and we'll return this challenge response over here. So here are two curly braces, and you can write challenge, and then add this challenge over here, then click on OK, and then we'll run it. Now when we go back to Monday, click on connect, you can see it was connected successfully and it ran successfully. So we can remove this, and then here we would like to send our webhook when our status changes to completed, and then click on add to board. Now let us test our webhook if it's working perfectly. So we can change this to intake and then run our webhook. So now when we change it to completed, you can see it read successfully. We're getting the name of our project right here. Since we're using Monday, we can get all the details of our service. So here I'll click on get an item. For our ID, I'll add our pulse ID, and our board here, our board is automation service project. So here I'll search for our board, automation service project, then click on OK. So now when we copy our pulse ID and come and run this module, we'll paste our pulse ID, then click on OK. You can see now we're getting all the details of our project. So we're getting the first name and the last name of our client, their company, their email, their phone number, and their location. Since we're using Stripe as our payment tool, I'll search for Stripe, and then the first thing I'll do is I'll search for a specific client that would like to send the invoice to. So here we can search for customer. We'll add their email. So on email, here I'll add the email. We can set up a filter if you want, like date created, but I'll just add their email and choose to search them via email. The limit, you can leave it as 1, then click on OK. And then the next module we'll add is we'll create a payment intent. Here we'll add our amount. The number that you add over here is going to be in cents. So you have to add an extra 2 zeros to convert the number into cents. So if you're charging $5,000, you'll have to add 500,000 over here. And then for our currency, I'll search the country code. Click on OK. You can add the description, recipient email, and now these are the details right here. But since this is an example, I'll just click on OK. And the next thing I'll do is now we can begin the process of generating our invoice using Stripe. So I'll scroll down where it says invoices and click on create a new invoice. Here, I'll add a customer ID, and then for the collection method, we'd like to send an invoice. Here, we can add how many days until due. So we can add, let's say, 3 days. You can continue, you can add the due date, description, the subscription ID if you have one, but for now, I'll just click on OK. And then here we can finalize creating the invoice. So on invoices, I'll finalize a draft invoice, then add our invoice ID, which is this one right here, and then click on OK. Let's run our automation and see if it's going to search for our customer, create a payment intent, create an invoice, and finalize the draft invoice. To do that, I will run our invoice and then click on wait for new data. And on Monday, I'll change the status to intake, then change it to completed so we can trigger automation. So you can see that automation ran successfully. It created our payment intent, an invoice, and finalized on the draft. Now we can proceed to the next step of uploading our invoice to Google Drive so we can create a shareable link that we can add to a well-personalized email that we're going to send to our clients, asking them, telling them that we have completed the project and we have linked the link to the invoice for them to complete the payment of the project. To do that, here, I'm going to search for HTTP and then click on get a file. Here we're going to get our invoice. So here I'll add our invoice PDF and then click on OK. Now with our invoice we're here, we're going to upload it to Google Drive. So on Google Drive, I'll search for upload a file. So here, I'll choose a folder. And our folder, I'm going to choose files as our folder. The file that we're uploading is this PDF over here. And then click on OK. To test our automation again, I'm going to run it. Then instead of changing the status, I'm going to use the existing data since we already had our data over here. You can see we're getting our file. So this is our invoice over here. And we are uploading it to our Google Drive folder. With our invoice over here, we can get a shareable link so we can attach it to our email. So here I'll get a link. For file ID, I'll add our file ID over here. Type, we can say anyone. And then click on OK. Now let's see if it's going to create our link so we can attach it to our email. To do that, I will run automation again. And then this time around, I'll change our status to intake, then change it to completed to trigger our automation. So you can see it created our link over here. Now we can proceed to send the invoice to our clients. So I'll add a new module and then search for email. On email, I'll click on send an email. For the email, here we can add our recipient. Our recipient is going to be our client that we had their details from Monday. So on email, we're going to add the email address. Then the subject line could be on the lines of project completion and invoice payment. Then here we're saying, hi, first name. I'm pleased to inform you that we have successfully completed the automation project for your business. All the agreed upon processes have been implemented and the system is now fully operational. We trust that these enhancements will significantly improve your efficiency and contribute to your business's continued success. As discussed, please find the invoice of the project attached below. We kindly request that you proceed with the payment at your earliest convenience. Then here we are adding the invoice link. Now for the invoice link, we're going to add our link over here. So this is going to be the link of our invoice. And then the rest of the emails on the lines of, should you have any questions or require further assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to ensure everything runs smoothly for you. Thank you for choosing our services. We look forward to the possibility of working with you again in the future. Best regards, then Dennis. Then click on OK. On our email, we can add break tags to avoid our email being sent as an entire paragraph. So we can add break tags. And then click on OK. Now to test our automation, if it will send our email, we're going to run it. And then here, I'll change our status to completed. We got our project over here. And then we search for our customer via their email, created a payment intent, created an invoice, finalized on the draft of the invoice. We got our invoice, we uploaded it to Google Drive, we created a shareable link, and then we attached the link with his email and sent it to our client. Now let us open our email and see the email that we are sending to our client. We open our email, you can see the subject line of our email right here. It says project completion and invoice payment. And then here you can see the rest of our email. Here's the link to our invoice. You can also click over here to preview the invoice. This is an automation that creates and sends an invoice to a client after a project has been completed. It gets the client from your project management tool, creates an invoice, uploads it to Google Drive, and then and then attach the link of the invoice with the email that we are sending to our client, telling them that the project has been completed, and we also have attached our invoice for them to proceed to make a payment. If you have any automation or a system that you'd like for me to create, comment down below in the comment section. And if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to set up the entire automation from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.